Grab your pre-workout and turn up that volume. It is time for a new episode of the Powerlifter's Den with your host, Cam Smith. What's up, Powerlifter's Den family? Want to rep the podcast and look good while doing it? Check out my official merch store at plden.company.site. We've got tees, hoodies, beanies, hats, and more, and gear that'll keep you motivated in and out of the gym. Every purchase helps support me and the podcast and keeps the den growing strong. So whether you're hitting a heavy squat session or just lounging in style, we've got you covered. Head to plden.company.site and grab your merch today. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Powerlifter's Den. And a whopping almost 2 years and 75 episodes later, I want to bring John back on here. Since then, he's accomplished much in the sport, and we've grown a lot together in the crew as well as himself. So, John, why don't you introduce yourself?
My name is John Ruoppo, co-owner of Evolve Fitness and Training with my wife, Stephanie. Maybe about 6 months ago, I got sponsored by F8, which was a big change for me in my powerlifting career.
Yeah, so I think instead of kind of going into your background, which we did previously, we'll kind of talk about what's happened over the past 2 years. There's been a lot that's gone on, most notably your 1,200-pound squat, as well as your 1075 single-ply all-time world record that you just hit. So before we kind of dive into what led up to those, we'll talk a little bit about our crew and how it's evolved over the past 2 years. So maybe tell us a little bit about some of the things that you've incorporated or some of the things that we've done over the past couple of years.
Yeah. So honestly, it's not like I'm like going searching for people or anything like that. They just, they sign up at the gym, they see what we're doing, they want to be involved and they want to be a part of what we're doing. A lot of the kids we got were they were all raw kids or just like, athletes, and they joined our crew, and a lot of them are actually dabbling in new equipment now, which is never thought that was going to happen. But yeah, it's not like we peer pressure or anything either. They wanted to be involved in what we're doing. So
yeah, and it's something that you're always saying like, no, I'm not telling anybody to do it. I'm not telling anybody to do it. But yeah, when you see like you squatting 1,200 and then Charlie getting close to 1,000, and then me and Jonah start getting up there, and all these young kids are like, wait, that looks kind of fun. I want to try that.
Oh, absolutely. Plus, like, it's a different sport, raw, and equipment, but like, they obviously want to squat more, so, they want to use the equipment, they see how technical all the lifting is, they see how long it takes to get better at it. And it's like more of a challenge for them. That's why I got into it too. I used to love raw lifting, but just, it takes a while to get good at this stuff. It keeps you wanting more.
Yeah. And it's not only the challenge that makes it enticing for me, it's also, just to keep it fresh. Like, I haven't been competing that long, but just the reason I jumped into multiply, obviously, like seeing you guys do the crazy weights and stuff and going to these meets, but also just to keep it fresh so I didn't get burnt out and want to stay in the sport for a long time.
Absolutely. That's why I did it in the first place, man. I actually took about 1.5 years off at one point and joined a multiply gym, changed, and I haven't really gotten sick of it yet. My body's given out on me a little bit, but I have not gotten sick of it yet.
Yeah, and you were mentioning about like the crew, like we're not doing any like recruiting or anything. They're kind of just stumbling in and joining, but it just seems to everyone that joins happens to be like perfect fits for the crew.
A dog, a complete dog, man. We've been very fortunate, man. We have just people walking in squatting 500-600 pounds raw, like quickly too, within a couple months of training, and they're just dogs, man. They do everything they need to get better. They train hard. They're not big party animals. They do the right things outside of the gym, and it's showing, man. They're getting really, really strong.
Yeah, and a lot of these kids are college age, like obviously are younger guys, and obviously what I did coming out of college, showing up on Sundays hungover as fucking. Obviously, I've gotten a lot stronger since I've kind of changed my path.
Yeah, and like I said, I want these kids to still have fun, but at the end of the day, if you want to hit these goals, you need to make a decision.
Yeah.
I'm not saying don't go have fun once in a while, but don't go out on Saturday night when we have to wake up around 7 to squat, at 9 o'clock on Sundays. So
yeah, and as far as the crew goes, like obviously, like you said, we have they just kind of fall into our laps. But what are some of the I guess pillars of the crew that make our crew so tight knit and important?
Well, number one, we actually like each other. A lot. You always hear these stories about all these crews, they fucking hated each other, but you know, they want to, you know, training partners. But no, we actually like everybody. You know, we want to hang out outside the gym. You know, we want to build a relationship with our guys. We all have a goal, man. Like everyone in here is working their butt off. Everyone wants to get better. You know, everyone's doing the right things in the gym. Everyone's spotting and loading. You know, everyone wants to learn. Like lately, everyone wants to learn how to knee wrap. You know, people that are getting the gear, they want to learn how to set the straps on a squat suit. They want to learn how to, you know, set bench shirts. You know, everyone's very involved right now. And I told you a few weeks ago, like this is by far the best our crew's ever been. You know, we're very tight knit. You know, I don't dislike anybody, which is rare. You know, everyone's great right now.
Yeah,
we're having fun.
And that's what important part of the crew too. Is like you said, we do things outside of the gym, and I think a lot of crews might not do that. Like even with the crews outside, like down at Hellbent and up at Iron Helix, like they do stuff outside the gym. They do stuff with us, and that's why all of these gyms in this New England area are getting so fucking strong.
Absolutely. Yep. We all hang out with those other gyms too, and there's a common. What do you want to word it? A common trait. You know, we're all hanging out with each other. We're all doing the, you know, the right things. We're all learning from Skibo, which is definitely helping. That guy is a magician in the gear, as you can see all the 1,000-pound squatters he has. So
yeah, so I guess we'll dive into a little bit about. Actually, we'll dive in about Holy Wars, but before we talk about your world record, so obviously this was a great prep for your squat. Since then, you got your new F8 gear. Obviously, hit that goal of 12:01.5 was something that you've been chasing, and something that probably a couple years ago you didn't even think was in the cards.
No idea it was in the cards. I was stuck at, you know, backtracking a little bit, but I was stuck in the low thousands for probably 3 years. You know, grinding away, training very, very hard. You know, doing all the right things, and my squat just wasn't going up. You know, I've told you many times, Cam. You know, like, do I think I've gotten stronger in the last couple of years? Yeah, a little bit. Like, you know, not insane amount stronger, but definitely stronger. No, I'm in the gear all the time. I'm getting used to that pressure. You know, I'm learning how to, you know, set my gear tighter, and ultimately that's what's going to put numbers on your squat. You know, you just need to be in the gear constantly. You need to get used to that miserable, horrible feeling pressure. That's what's going to make you a good squatter.
Yeah, and since the last time we were on this podcast, I mean, I wasn't even looking at into equip yet, and now I've had 1,000 pounds on my back. So it's interesting from then to now being actually able to kind of know what you say when you say pressure and putting that weight on your back.
Yeah, you're understanding it exactly. Yeah.
And that was a fun trip down to Hellbent. So we went down, what was it, 3 weeks ago now or something like that? You had to take your last squad of prep. And it was my first day with Skiba as a coach. And he fucking full sent it. So
absolutely. Yeah. That's the thing, man. He has so much confidence in you. It's unbelievable. Like, when he took me over, he's like, we're squatting 11, you know, next meet. And I'm like, dude, like, I was stuck at 1,000 for years. Like, I'm going to be happy with a freaking 5-pound PR. You know what I mean? And like backtracking again, 9/11 meet, hit the 10:30 last September, jumped in a Holy Wars 2 months later, squat 11:25, you know, and then a year later at Holy Wars, I hit the 12. So, like, he just has so much confidence in you, man. Like, I never thought I was going to squat 1,200 pounds, you know, like, that wasn't even in my mind, you know. I just wanted a PR, you know, maybe 11 one day, but yeah, 12 wasn't even in the ballpark.
Yeah, and then as far as the rest of that prep go, obviously, bench has been a lifelong struggle and kind of up and down, and thought we were getting somewhere, and then had to change some shirts and try to figure that out with the new sponsor. But so we'll kind of just brush past that because that's something that we'll get back to someday. But the deadlift, the peak, that went pretty well. You pulled the PR there. And tell everybody about kind of what happened with the third attempt.
At Holy Wars?
Yeah.
Yeah, so, you know, took 11:29 on my squat on my opener, went right to 12:01. Probably had a small jump in me, but we cut it to save me for the rest of the meet. You know, took a token bench, you know, didn't end up hitting one in the shirt. Opened took a token on my deadlift, went right to 8:04 for a PR, and then I took 8:26, flew off the ground. Body, my CNS was fried, started shaking, just, you know, didn't lock it out. Very close, but just, you know, body was fried at that point.
Yeah, and that was one of those deadlifts for me to watch for you, because obviously you're a very explosive lifter. But like you said, we all thought you were going to smoke it because it came off the floor so fast, and then your body just like rejected the weight.
Yep, just said no to me. Yeah, I thought I had it too. Like right off the floor, I'm like, oh, no, I do not.
Yeah. But as far as like meets go, obviously that's a meet that is great to go to. The first one was great, the second one was better, and the third one's going to be even better.
Everyone wants to do it now.
Yeah, and I think obviously there's some more. What's the word I'm looking for to try to keep this? There's some more to it than just another meet. But as far as the competition goes, it's something that definitely, you definitely wanted, and I think it's going to be another great year for it.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I don't know the exact number, but I want to say there was 10 to 12,000 pound squats.
Yep.
I think at 3 or 4 1100 plus. I mean, it's no joke, man. Like he hit him and Mike Skiba and the Hellbait crew, man. They put on a show, man. You know, red light district, all the fancy lights, man. They had some cool vendors in there. Everyone was going bananas. It was great, man. It was the best meet I've ever done. It was very competitive too. Like there were some dogs. Like Danny had the meet of his life again, which I'm really happy for, because he's been in the sport since when I started. He was already in gear, 12, 13 years ago. So yeah, I loved watching him, have a really good meet.
Yeah, and then so as far as the single ply goes, when was the first time you kind of saw that record and was like, I want to go for it?
All right. So, as we know, Dave Hoff is in my weight class in multiply. As of right now, I'm nowhere near him, So world records are not going to happen at 308 as of right now. So, I was just scanning around, I just went on Open Powerlifting. I just wanted to see what the record was. And, I thought it was doable. I tried it at the Showdown last year. I was really strong, had an unbelievable prep. Don't want to make excuses because everyone also had to compete in that weather, but my fat ass does not do well in the heat. So unfortunately, I passed out a couple times attempting it. I actually think I was probably more prepared for that one than this one. Just because I only took 4 squats in prep. It was kind of like a last minute decision. So yeah.
Yeah. So I wonder if kind of thinking about it, like obviously the first time wasn't a success, but you put so much into it. You said you felt stronger. I wonder if
I think I put more effort into that prep than any prep, even Holy Wars. I was locked in, man, that whole entire prep. Like I was going to that revived. Athlete recovery. I went probably 3 or 4 days a week, sauna, ice bath, red light therapy, massages. Diet was on point really well. Like was eating. I think I got up to 327 in that prep. Hitting ridiculous. I was hitting bigger circuit max numbers in my single ply than on my multiply stuff.
Yeah.
I think that was probably the best prep. Holy Wars was good too. I don't think I missed a squat. I think I only missed 1 deadlift in training. But I think for that meet, I think I was the most prepared I've ever been.
Yeah, and that just kind of goes to show that you could be the most prepared you've ever been, and then shit can always go wrong. Like, obviously going down to Florida, traveling is a huge impact on it. Even just like the weekend we drove to F8, like not a crazy far travel or far drive, but me, you, and Jonah all were struggling on squats that Saturday. So
big time. Yeah, we had a rough time. Yeah.
But as far as F8, obviously you got sponsored by them. So tell us a little bit about your relationship with Rob and Tiff, kind of how that started and how it's been going.
So right after the Showdown meet, obviously very disappointed that I bombed out. I was very, very strong still. I'm like, I'm not going out like that. So I found a meet at Nittany Barbell in Pennsylvania. I ended up doing multiply. I think I took 1 squat. Nothing crazy, and just went right to it. Drove down there. I obviously knew of Rob and Tiff. I knew they were the owners of F8, but I never met them in person or anything like that. And so I showed up. I weigh in. Rob was in the same room with me that we weighed in at, and he actually started busting my balls. He's like, "Whoa, look at those squat openers and deadlift openers." He's like, "Your bench sucks, though, huh?" And I'm like, "Damn, first impression, man." But no, and then he's basically like, "Look, he was the judge on squats. He's like, I want you to send you some stuff. I want you to try some stuff." I'm like, I'm sponsored by Titan right now. I'm like, he's like, don't worry about it. Just try it on. So I ended up trying it on, loved it. He sent me, briefs and a shirt. I think my first time in the briefs, they were loose. I squatted over 1,000 to a box. sent them back, got them like within a week with laces and, fully decked out. I mean, my briefs, my briefs are
They're
4-ply
insane.
in the front, 5-ply in the back, grid stitched, the laces in the back. They're the most ridiculous things in the world, man. So they got them back to me within like, a week or so. Took 1,100 to a box. I was like, oh my God, this thing's insane. But yeah, so, tried it on, told them I liked them. They offered me a sponsorship. I took it. And it was literally the best powerlifting move I've ever made, man. They're unbelievable people. They get me whatever I need to. They let us, the trip to F8 was fun. They let me bring whoever I wanted down there. We had a blast, train with Jimmy, Phil, all the rest of the elite crew, the F8 crew. But yeah, man, I can't say enough good things about them. Rob's mom, Denise, she does a lot of my alterations. They take care of me, man. Like, I am so grateful for them.
Yeah, and that's what the thing that makes F8 so great is, they make the best gear. What I've tried obviously is some hand-me-down shit, but those new briefs have already made an impact, and obviously I've seen what you can do in their shit. So besides just the fact that they make good gear, it's the people that run it. Rob and Tiff and Denise are the greatest people.
They do so much for the sport. I mean, dude, they sponsor basically every meet. They give barbells away for the meets, gear, gift cards. I mean, they do everything for the sport, man. They are unbelievable people, man. They give back to the sport probably more than anyone I've ever seen.
Yeah.
They're changing. Just wait, man. Like, I know a lot of people are in the face stuff right now, but they are changing the game, man. Like, all the top lifters are going to be in this gear soon, and they're going to all hit PRs, and they're going to be happy they changed. Trust me.
Yeah, 100%. Like, when I reached out to Tiff about sponsoring my meet, it was zero question, just immediately like,
oh yeah,
done. What do you want? What do you like? Send a bunch of stuff for the gift bags and stuff. And obviously I'm going to plug this meet because I'm very excited for it. It's going to be a very fun meet. I think the competition is going to be good, and I think it's going to set me up to maybe continue into something bigger in the next few years.
Oh yeah, I can't believe the work you did at that meet, man. I'm very, very impressed. Got a ton of prize money. Like you said, you are doing it for the lifters, and that's what the sport's all about.
Yeah, so we can talk about that a little bit too.
Yeah, absolutely.
So obviously over the past few years, I've noticed a lot more local meets do start to get some prize money and stuff. And obviously it's nothing crazy, nothing to take a week off of work for, but enough to maybe cover dinner in your hotel for the competition. And I think that's something that obviously brings more competition to the sport, but also helps people continue to compete and brings more people into it as well.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like I said, it's just really cool giving back to the lifters. Like you said, you kept, saying that over and over again. I agree with you 100%. Dude, $500 is, especially for like some local people, like that's pretty good money, man. We're powerlifting, man. We're not going to make this ridiculous money unless you're doing these, big meets. And even still, you're only making $5,000 if you win. You know what I mean? Like, $500, you got gift cards, you're giving a bunch of swag bags and stuff. People are excited for that. People are really excited for that.
Yeah, so I guess this might be a hard question to answer, but obviously we all know you can't make a living off of powerlifting, but a lot of us that are involved in it put so much effort into it and basically sacrifice a lot of things for it, some more than others. But for you, what do you get out of it? What is your biggest why?
For powerlifting in general?
Yeah.
Honestly, man, like, once you grow up, you kind of, lose contact with a lot of your good friends and stuff like that. And my best friends are part of my gym, so that's a big thing with me. Just, being with my friends, lifting weights. I'm obsessed with lifting weights. I love squatting, especially. I don't want to be cliche and like say like it like saved my life, but let's be honest, man, we're all a little messed up in the head. So it definitely helps with mental health. Just like I said, just lifting with your friends, we build a lot of relationships with people on the internet, and we're getting pretty close with a lot of these people, the Hellbent crew, Iron Helix, obviously very, very good friends with them, but like all the the gyms up in Florida and all over the place, like we're building these big relationships with people, and it's a pretty niche sport, especially multi-ply powerlifting, and we go to these meets 2 or 3 times a year, and like we hang out with these people, we go out to dinner with them. That's what I like to do, man. I love the sport of powerlifting. I love giving back to the sport. I love hanging out with these people, like-minded people that just, a lot of people don't understand why we're doing this shit, man, but those people do understand why we're doing this shit.
Exactly. It's kind of funny that you say that we don't understand, because like basically I was telling my grandmother the other day about how I want to squat 1,000 pounds, and she literally just goes, why? I'm like, because I want to get stronger. She's like, yeah, but isn't like this enough? It's like, no, it's never enough.
It's never enough. Like when I was growing up, like obviously my wife understood it a little bit, but I've been with her for a very long time. So when I first started, we weren't married yet. You know, she always obviously worried about all the bloody noses, and you know, it's not the healthiest sport in the world, but you know, we manage it the best we can. We're smart when we train. For the most part, we eat relatively healthy. Um, but you know, she understood it to a point, but she was obviously worried. You know, same thing with my mom. My mom was very worried about all this stuff. You know, she doesn't even like going to my meet. She likes supporting me, but I think, a year and a half ago, 2 years ago when we opened, my mom came to the gym and she just watched us on a Sunday and just watched everything. And she's like, I get it now.
Yeah.
You know, it's more than just the numbers. It's like, you know, like I said, you'd have to come down on a Sunday and see how we react with each other and how we do these things. Like that's the important part of the sport. You know, like my mom understands why I do this now. You know.
Yeah, and like you said, the best part of powerlifting is the community. It's not even the meets themselves. It's going to other meets. It's the training sessions that we have on Sundays. It's the joking around and giving people shit for stupid things in group chats that we are all involved in. Like
absolutely, a million group chats.
But so as far as the single ply world record, obviously congratulations on that. It was a very hard fought world record, and so let's talk about the meet itself. Give us a rundown of kind of how from the morning to when you hit it.
Let's go the day before because I had a pretty shitty cut I had to do.
Okay.
So normally for my cuts, like, you know, I'm about 318, 320, and all I usually do is just cut out a little bit of carbs and salt and water the day before, and I usually weigh in no problem, 305, 304. You know, I carry a lot of bloat. It comes off very easy. This time around, I don't know what it was, but I was just holding on to the weight a lot more. I got to like 318, 319 the day before, and I'm like, oh, this is going to be easy. I woke up, I was still 312. I'm like, oh, shit. I felt very depleted already. You can see my top abs cam. So then I had to wake up. I had to go in the sauna for about an hour and 20 minutes, and I don't do well in the heat. You know, started getting nosebleeds in the sauna. Got out of there waiting, made weight. Recomped unbelievably. You know, I got my weight back up to I think 319 before I went to bed. You know, drank a bunch of fluids, got an IV bag, vitamin B12 shot, something else I forget what it was, but felt really good. Got to the meet, warmed up really well, stretched, felt strong. As soon as I put the gear on, it was definitely tighter than normal, especially in the torso area.
Yeah.
So I had a really hard time breathing. I probably shouldn't have took the torso on as much as I did. Started warming up, felt really good. You know, my numbers moved pretty well in the warm-up room. Got to the platform. Everything felt good. The pick felt good, went down real smooth. Started coming up, lost my chest, got ducked over. Good spot. I mean, when I fail hard.
Yeah.
I fail really, really hard, as you guys know. But they got me up within like 4 or 5 seconds. Bleeding everywhere. Tweaked my abductor a little bit, my lower back a little bit. Ended up waiving my second attempt because I'm like, there's no way I'm going to be ready, in time to hit this. So waived my second attempt. Probably had about 20, 25 minutes before my third. Good pick. Went down with it. You called me up. Came up with it. It was a grind a little bit, but came up with it, racked it. As soon as I turned my head and saw those 2 white lights, man, like, don't get me wrong, very happy, but I was very relieved, man. Like when I went down to Florida, bombed out in front of everyone. How many people went down to Florida? At least 10?
Yeah. Something like
with
that.
Our crew.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that went down there to watch me, and I failed in front of them. So it was very nice not to fail this time, So
yeah, I think
so got very emotional and celebrate with my friends.
Yeah, but I think showing that motion, especially with someone your size, your stature, your I guess presence in the sport is good for the sport because obviously men's mental health is something that's not brought up a lot, and it's something that men showing their emotions, it's important. And I think something like that, it's small, but for some people it means a lot.
Yeah, I'm going to share this too. I didn't really want to, but since getting sponsored by F8, which in my opinion is the biggest sponsor in the game right now, going for those world records, I've had a lot of pressure on myself, probably too much, and it took some of the fun away from the sport for me. After these last few days, like I have a plan to get back and have fun again. But just make sure when you're going through these processes, it's a lot of work, man. Like, it takes everything out of you. The 6,000 to 7,000 calories a day I needed to eat to just keep my weight up. My life's pretty boring. I actually enjoy it though, so it doesn't bother me. I don't go out and all that. I go to bed pretty
Simple,
early.
not boring.
Yeah, simple. It's very simple. I sleep 8-9 hours a night. I'm full time at the gym, so I do personal training. My job isn't very strenuous, so I can really put a lot of my effort into training. But a lot goes into this, man. Like, I don't want to say sacrifices, but my wife's fully on board with me. But obviously, I'm 320 pounds. She's a marathon runner.
Yeah.
So I can't really, So I really can't do a lot of things with her. Like, I can't go on long, hikes and stuff like that. Unfortunately, I'd love to. If I get tired or I'm sore, obviously I might not be able to do some of the things that she wants to do. So, but she's so supportive of me, and so more or less though, just you're gonna have some ups and downs in the sport. Just stay with it, man. Like, you'll overcome them.
For sure. I think always looking at the big picture is important. There's a lot to look forward to. There's a lot of different goals you can set. There's a lot of people you can live through, whether if you're going through an injury or if you're taking some time off. There's plenty of other people you can watch and support in your own crew and your life.
Well, that's the nice thing right now too. Like, I'm 90% sure I need another shoulder surgery, so that's the main reason I did this single ply meet. I wanted to go out with a bang. I wanted to have a world record under my belt. So, if I need to take about a year off to get my shoulder right, which I need to if I want to hit a big total, squat and deadlift, I'm hitting some big numbers. Bench, just very shaky, unstable. Can't lock anything out right now. But so it gives me some time to take a step back, get my shoulder healthy, get a little healthy for a while, just in general. Maybe lose a few pounds. Maybe make my first meet back next year, maybe hit a 275. I know you don't want me to do that.
Fuck.
And then we got some bigger goals in the next, 2 years. And I know you know what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah. And as far as the squad itself, some more details about kind of meet day, because I love getting the inside scoop on some of the things that lead up to, because obviously to some people a squat's a squat. Like, you watch it, they go up, they go down, cool, but you don't know all the things that go into it. And I remember after you missed the opener, obviously everyone had some doubts, because that's just how people are, including yourself. And I remember I walked up to Steph and I was like, hey, has John ever missed a squat and then got it again? And she goes, I don't know. So we're like, all right, we're gonna figure this out. So obviously you took the time. We kind of made a couple adjustments to the suit, pulling the legs down, taking the extra time. Obviously, you get to a different mental state at that point. You're like, it's time to overcome that adversity. But for me, as soon as you picked it, I knew you were coming up with it.
Yeah. Like I said, that last pick felt perfect. The way down felt really good. Obviously, I beat the hell out of my body up to that point. That opener, I haven't posted it yet. It was a brutal miss.
Yeah.
All my misses are pretty brutal, but it was a brutal miss, man. Very violent. Was under the bar like a good morning for, at least a few seconds. You guys got it off me pretty good, but, bleeding everywhere. Face was absolutely destroyed. Blood vessels popped everywhere. Really beat up, So I'm not gonna lie to you, man. Like, I think people need to hear this. Like, I did have some doubt, and I usually don't when I squat. Usually I'm like, if I do everything right, I'm coming up with it.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna put a weight on the bar I can't hit. So yeah, I just regrouped. Charlie sent some very motivating words in my ear, and I woke up and I'm like, all right, like, if I miss this, I'm gonna miss this, giving it everything I have. I know I squeezed my back as tight as I could, because that's the reason I missed in the first place. I just lost my back tightness, so I squeezed my back as hard as I absolutely could. I waited for you to call me up. I came up with it, and like I said, when I saw those two whites, man, it was very relieving. I fucking did it. So
yeah, I mean, the best part of all the videos is the celebration after. I mean, just watching our whole crew just cheering. Obviously everyone else in the crowd was erupting and stuff, but just seeing our whole crew on the platform spotting, and obviously for me it was a huge relief, because the anxiety of calling a squat is way higher than some people would expect.
Oh yeah, and like, I'm gonna throw this out there too. I probably shouldn't, but I'm getting a little bit of hate that it was a little high. You saw me fucking almost die in the first attempt. You got me pretty deep on the first one. You know, like you literally saw me almost die. So, fuck everybody, man. Like you called me where you think you needed to call me without you seeing me die, and I got 2 white lights. You know, there's nothing, no regrets on either of our ends. So
Yeah, I mean, like I said, anyone that talks shit on the internet either doesn't even powerlift, or there's some raw idiot that has no. Not that all idiots, or not that all raw guys are idiots, but
I know what you mean.
yeah. But so fuck them. It's 2 white lights.
Absolutely.
It's gonna be in the record books. They can go cry about it.
Yep, it is what it is. And I know Hoff's made this, said the same thing before. You know, I'm gonna, my guy's gonna call me. I'm gonna come up with it. You know, even if people think it's high, like the judges gave me 2 white lights. I'm not turning my own lift down. I'll tell you that right fucking now. That's not happening.
Yeah, and some addition to add to that before we kind of move on was Alex Oman obviously was there at the meet. He's been a big part of RPS. Came in, what was it? Whenever I was benching, Monday night or something like that, and he was telling me it was like great squat and stuff. And he was like, we were kind of talking about how like people don't realize that one, the internet and videos never look good, but the fact that they don't ever see a person your size. They don't understand just how big someone's legs are. Like your quad sweep's like 4 inches. So where the hip crease actually is and where the top of the kneecap is, it never looks quote unquote deep.
Yeah, exactly. You know, like I said, I'm not worried about it, man. Like I said, I got my 2 white lights. I've had, big names I actually respect congratulated me. Donnie Thompson reached out to me personally, which I thought was cool as shit because I used to love watching him even before I was in gear. Like he was one guy when I was raw, I truly enjoyed watching him. So I don't care. That's the best validation I can get right there. So I'm not, like I said, I don't care about what a 140-pound raw kid from Canada. Yes, I'm talking about you guys. I don't care what they think.
Exactly. And obviously now that record's done, we got some time to kind of step back and like you said, kind of try some different things, get a little quote unquote healthier. But obviously you still coach a lot of people. You coach a lot of the guys in our crew. You're still involved in Covenant Conjugate, and obviously a bunch of us have some big goals. So maybe if you had to tell us about, or tell the people about kind of what we're working towards and kind of some of the things you're looking forward to.
Yeah, so I'm very happy. I've done a lot of big things in the last year and a half with Skiba. Hit some big numbers I never thought I could hit. So my body's pretty beat up. I'm excited for this little break, get my body right. But we do have a couple meets coming up. Your meet's coming up in a little more than 3 weeks now.
Yep.
So what do we have? 5 guys. I have 5 guys doing that meet. I'm pretty sure.
Four. It might be 4.
4 guys, and their prep is almost finished. Man, everyone's crushing it right now. I love lifting weights, man, but I'm really enjoying coaching these kids, man. They make it fun for me. They work their ass off. I love being here on Sundays and just helping everybody out and calling their jumps, and it's very motivating to me, that they trust me, and their numbers are flying, and yeah. But I'm very excited to see what they do at your meet, and then a couple of guys are doing a meet up in New Hampshire at the RPS meet.
Vermont, I think it might be Vermont.
Is it Vermont? Okay. Is that the zoo in New Hampshire? Is that the one or no?
I'm not sure. I think it's further
I'm not
up.
sure. Yeah. We're gonna be up there,
Yeah.
and Big Eric is competing in that meet. Who else is competing? Oh, Ponder is competing at that meet. It's his first multiply meet. I'm very excited for him. But dude, Eric is a mutant. Like he is so strong. Like people are gonna know this kid's name. Well, not kids.
Yeah, he's older than all of us.
Yeah, but people are gonna know this dude very soon, man. He is freaky strong, like 1,000 pounds in briefs, like a warm up.
Yeah,
and he doesn't have F8 briefs yet. We're getting him a pair of those. I'll tell you right now. But capable of 1,000 pound unlimited bench, and I'm pretty sure is it just Hoff and Merck that have done that in a meet as of right now?
I believe so.
And he could do it, man. Like he is so brutally strong. It's unbelievable. So I'm very excited to see him compete. He just needs to get it done on the platform, and I'm very confident he will this time.
For sure. And it kind of
yeah.
Before you go,
and then we have Bears meet later.
Yep, and that's what I'm doing. And I got some goals, but we'll just keep those quiet for now. I'll let the numbers speak on the day. But as far as Eric goes, it just makes you kind of wonder how many people out there are possibly capable of some crazy shit like that, but just haven't done it yet on the platform.
Well, better than anybody, Camley, especially you're handling these big numbers too. What's going to make people hit these numbers is just confidence and up here.
Yep.
You know, as soon as you know you can do something, you're going to do it. You know what I mean? As long as you execute the lift properly and you've done everything in your power to, you know, in prep to get it done, you're going to get it done. You know, you're just going to be confident. Like I said, get used to that extra pressure. You know, you got 4-ply briefs now from F8. You know, you're starting to wear tighter straps. Like you said, I know you said you want to keep it a little quiet, but you're about to hit some big numbers too.
Yeah, and I think part of that is obviously, like you said, the mental game. Obviously, working my ass off and having a great coach is a huge part.
You've been working your ass off big time in the gym, man. Like it doesn't go unnoticed. Like you're crushing it right now.
Thank you.
Hard on your accessories, man. You're doing really well.
Yeah, and I don't know what is happening, and I don't know the biological aspects of this, but the more and more I've been pushing my accessories, the more I've been recovering. Like today, I might go bench today instead of tomorrow, just so I can have an extra day off before squats because I feel fucking great today. I felt great on Tuesday, and I hit a big pull. Like all the numbers just keep shooting up and shooting up. So all the people that skip their accessories,
you're doing all the right things. You're doing all the right things, man. You know, I know you have a hard time eating, but you're eating the right things. You know, you're not drinking that much anymore, almost never. You know, you're going to bed when you're supposed to. You're doing the right things to recover, and that's what it takes, especially at the level you're trying to get to.
Yeah, and as far as like all the young guys and stuff, some of the things that they can kind of take from this is just kind of watch what you do, watch what Connor does, watch what all these big time guys who execute well more than just work their ass off.
Yeah, every rep you do in the gym, even accessory work, you want to make it beneficial. You don't want to just do these reps as fast as you can, get through the motion, get through the workout. Everything you do needs to like have meaning towards it. Everything you do.
Yeah, and one of the things that changed for me, obviously, accessory-wise, the volume's increased by a shitload. But as far as the actual training of the accessories, I remember that conversation we had, I don't even know, 6 months ago, a year ago, about training like an athlete versus training like a bodybuilder and how much of a difference.
That was probably a couple of years ago. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember
it's a big difference, like you said. Oh yeah. Well, in you know, in sports, you want to be very explosive all the time. And don't get me wrong, powerlifting you definitely do too. But if you want to hit these big numbers, you need to put some muscle on your body. So you almost want to train like a bodybuilder, so your body can, you know, like look at me, dude. Like how all these falls I've had, how the hell have I not got injured? You know, seriously, I've had some seriously bad falls. I think it's because I put so much muscle on my body. I have a lot of protection.
Yeah.
Honestly, you know. So yeah, just train like a bodybuilder. Like Mike is very pro raw lifting, very pro. You want to look jacked in this sport. You know, and look at all these guys. They are all jacked. They're all very strong, and you know they do their accessory work.
Yeah, I mean, if you do powerlifting, you don't want to look jacked. Then what the hell are you doing?
Absolutely, man. Like that's why most of us set out to do this in the first place, anyway, right?
Exactly.
Probably get stronger and put muscle on. So
yeah, it all starts at, oh, I'm gonna go put some weight on, and then doing these squats are kind of fun, and this guy squats 600. I want to do that, and then next thing you know, you're putting 1,000 pounds on your back.
Yeah. Absolutely. Dude, just if you're trying to get strong in this sport, dude, we're not everyone, like there's a couple guys that come up to me like they think I'm a celebrity. Like, dude, I'm a fat guy that powerlifts in gear. It's a very niche sport, but like don't be afraid to reach out to people. Like even like big names will get back to you. Like just reach out to them. Like they want to help you. Trust me. Like we all got into this because we love it. Like we want to help people get better. So don't be afraid. Like if anyone has any questions about the F8 gear or just anything at all, diet, anything, reach out. Like I like seeing that. I want to respond to these people. I want to help them. So.
Yeah. And I think the point of that is too, like, I mean, obviously like doing podcast episodes of them and like following them and stuff like that. Like I learn from them and I make that connection. But anytime, like we'll go through a couple examples with my deadlift, like Trevor Jaffe, I kept having that issue where I was getting pitched forward or my balance was off, and he immediately responded and sent me like 4 minutes long of voice messages and shit and everything. No.
Did he charge you anything?
Not a single dollar.
And he's a big name in the sport, dude. You know what I mean? Like just reach out to these people. You're gonna reach out. You might have a couple assholes, but I'd say 98% of the people you're gonna reach out to, they're gonna help you. So definitely reach out to these people.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter how. Like Jimmy Kolb's another example. Any questions I have with him?
Best professor on the planet, and he'll reach out to anybody. He doesn't even I have a couple guys from my gym that aren't necessarily like huge names or that strong. He will get back to them immediately, and he'll give them, and he doesn't ask for anything. Doesn't ask for anything. Even his Patreon's like $10 a month, and he lets you see all his training and like what I mean. Like that's another guy and that's his living. He could charge way more if he wanted to, like way more, and he he loves giving back to the sport. He wants people to know how he trains, you know?
Yeah. So I guess for some of the younger guys that might be listening or maybe up and coming, what are some of the things that you've seen or you do yourself that kind of help contribute to the sport other than just competing and judging and things like that?
Other than that, are you talking about like a crew in general, like with their crew too? Like,
Yeah, either or.
just anything?
Yeah.
Just honestly, man, my biggest advice is just get a crew. You know, like get a crew, find the strong guys in the crew and do what they do, honestly. And just make sure you're very helpful too. Like don't sit around and do nothing. Like really help, you know, load plates, spot, you know, ask if, make sure like if you want to learn how to wrap knees, ask. Like don't just wait for people to ask. Like go for it. Like trust me, people respect you a lot more if you do that too. You know, like
yeah, and that's what's made the crew get so tight recently.
Make the effort. Yeah, everyone wants to learn, and man, I love it. It's great, you know, and you know, like even if you're like worried, like, you know, I'm squatting, you know, 1,200 pounds, like I have no problem like letting one of my guys in the crew like wrap me for 800-900 pounds. Like I have no problem with it. I can do that bare knee, no problem, you know. So just, you know, as long as it doesn't like feel like my leg's gonna snap. But,
yeah.
You know, just practice on the warm-up sets, you know, do that for weeks and weeks. You're gonna get better at it. You know, same thing with like setting like gear and stuff. Like even my raw, like some of the raw guys are learning how to, you know, set straps and stuff and do all those kinds of things too. So yeah, just be very open-minded, you know, and just learn. Make sure you learn. Ask questions, you know.
Yeah.
At appropriate times.
But I think the bigger impact of that too is when your crew's that tight knit and you show up to a meet, the day becomes a lot less stressful, becomes a lot easier, and it allows you to just go out there and literally just lift the weights.
Yeah, and like, you know, when we go to meets, if we bring 15, 20 people, lifters, and then you have other people that show up to watch too. So we roll in deep, and like at my spot, like we, you know, they had some spotters. How many spotters they have? 5 maybe,
something like that.
But like my crew jumped in because like they know how to spot that kind of weight. And I don't expect most of these guys doing these meets, like they're not going to know how to squat 1,100, 1,200 pound squats. Like they've never seen one in their entire life.
Yeah.
You know? So, you know, just having our crew there, you know, knowing how to spot, and, you know, that goes back to your question too. I know you said like instead of spotting and loading and doing all that stuff, but be involved like that too, man. Like help out at meets any way you can. You know, anything, just be involved in the sport.
Yeah, and I think as far as like crew reputations go, it's something that's important too. Like I'm sure when we roll into a meet, they're like, "Oh, cool, the Evolve guys here, or the Hellbent guys are here. Like we're gonna be safe. There's gonna be energy. It's gonna be a fun time."
Well, that's the most important part of these big meets, man. Like you want to walk out safe. You know, you want to make sure you're putting people in the appropriate spots, especially like, you know, the Holy Wars. You know, Hellbent, like they know how to spot these squats. They do it every Sunday. So, you know, just make sure, you know, you're, you know, jumping in at appropriate times. If, you know, like my guys, like I didn't have to ask you guys.
Yeah.
You jumped right in. Like I knew you guys were going to do it anyway, but, you know, you basically brushed everybody off. You know, we got this. Because let's be honest, man, if I didn't have you guys there spotting me that day, that first one might have went a little differently.
Yeah, and like not to knock other people there, they just simply haven't experienced.
No, I'm not trying to.
Yeah.
They just, who the hell's gonna have experience squatting? You know, that doesn't even make any sense. You know, I mean, I think the biggest squat there besides me was 8, and then it was, I think, down to 6, which is a big squat.
Yeah,
that's a big squat too. But I mean, it's like these numbers are unfathomable for a lot of people, so it's not good to put people in a bad position.
Correct, and
you know what I mean. And Bob knew I was bringing my guys. You know, he knew my guys were spotted.
Yeah, and a good example of just the impact your crew can make is like Nick Breen. He came up to us, and right before he was going to take 800, he goes, "Hey, can you come out and spot?" And obviously, no question, our whole crew was out there in a second. But
we were already going to do it without him asking.
Exactly.
You know,
and having that kind of reputation and kind of respect is something that every crew should strive for.
Absolutely. And he actually reached out to me like a day or two later. He's like, "Hey, just, you know, I really appreciate it. You know, make sure you thank your crew, you know, for spotting me and keeping me safe." So it doesn't go unnoticed. It does not go unnoticed.
Yeah. So before we kind of wrap things up here, obviously plans are a little bit different than usual, but maybe outside of just some some personal goals in terms of like cutting down weight and things, like what are some other goals you have for the rest of this year?
Just to grow my business. Me and my wife, Steph, we're pretty busy with personal training. I have a couple spots I could probably take. I don't want to burn myself out too much either because we kind of do everything, around the gym. But we'll probably both take on one or two more clients, and then we just hired a bunch of trainers. So just keep promoting personal training, getting more people in the gym. Those are definitely big goals of mine. And then honestly, just I'm still gonna squat and stuff for you guys. I'm still gonna lift, but I get the shoulder looked at, get healthy. But honestly, I'm just very excited to like help you try to reach your goals. The rest of my guys reach their goals. Like I just love being around the sport. I love helping. And I'm ready for a break so I can really put more effort into all you guys.
Yeah, and I mean, just because it's a break doesn't mean it's over. And I think a big comeback is we're all going to be waiting for it for sure.
If I want to hit the numbers that I want to hit, I need to give my body a little break. I've been going nonstop since last September. I don't know how many meets I've done since September. Was it like 15, 16 months? I think I've done 7 meets.
Yeah.
Just absolutely ridiculous. So I've been constantly sore nonstop. Getting out of bed, I'm limping around like this shit's no joke. So give my body a break, drop a few pounds, just let everything heal up a little bit. And that's the only way I'm going to be able to come back and hit the numbers that I really want.
For sure. And like obviously, like with our crew being so tight and us doing other things, like there's so much more to look forward to than being like, oh, I can't bench today, boo-hoo. There's so much. Obviously you can watch others hit big numbers, but we have tons of events coming up. There's tons of different things we can do. Like we can find new hobbies. There's so much more to it that people don't talk about.
Oh, and this time around, I'm ready to get the shoulder surgery. Like I hit some really big goals I wanted to do. I mean, I hit 2 out of my 4 goals I want before I'm done.
Mm-hmm.
And I did them both this year within a few months apart. I hit the big 12. I wanted that really bad. And I hit a world record. So I have 2 out of the 4 goals I have. I already hit them. So it's a lot easier for me to take this break, bro. Like I'm ready for the break. So shoulder surgery this time around, it's not going to be as bad as last time. Like I'm ready for the break.
Yeah. So I think we can kind of wrap things up here. So I'll ask you my final question. If you could give a new lifter or someone going into their first meet a word of advice, what would that be?
So I get this a lot, actually. People in the gym, they're always worried about, competing in a meet. They're worried about, I have to hit this number first. No, you don't. Just sign up for a meet, have fun. Make sure you open light, just, get a coach or, just ask questions. There's a lot of, you don't need a coach if you're brand new either. Like, just ask questions. Like especially if you're a member of my gym, everyone here will help you. Every single person here will help you. I don't even mind writing a little quick prep up for somebody, just to get them, for their first meet underway. You know what I mean? But sign up for me, do the best you can, and I promise you this: like people, like I said, always want to wait for to hit those numbers. If you do a meet, and you're especially one of our meets, if you do one of our meets, you're going to have a blast, and your drive for the sport is going to go up tenfold. So just doing a meet, you're going to want to train harder. You're going to want your diet to be better. You're going to do all these little things to get better. So I think that's the biggest thing. Just sign up for me if you think you're ready or not, and just go attack it.
Yeah, I think one of my favorite things to say to a friend or someone that trains in the gym but hasn't competed yet but maybe thought about it is when they say I'm not strong enough, I always respond with I'm not strong enough either, but I still do it.
None of us are happy with our numbers, man. Like I said, I just hit these 2 big goals. I'm one that we're never satisfied, man. I don't think I'll go until my body just falls apart. And even if I hit these 2 goals that I have coming to me in the next couple of years, like, dude, you always want more. You're never going to be satisfied. Never. So.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to thank you again for taking the time to come on, and I'll see you Sunday.
Sounds good, Cam. Thanks, bud.